There's something unsettling about a secret that refuses to stay buried. Some murders go cold, some killers vanish, and some victims just don't know how to stay dead. Tonight we're stepping into the twilight zone where justice leaks out of the graveyard, soil and drifts across the living world like fog. These aren't legends or whispers or stories swapped around a campfire at 3 a.m. These are real cases, documented, witnessed, testified, where murder victims seem to reach back from the afterlife to point a cold, bony finger at the ones who silenced them. And if that doesn't make you check the corners of your room tonight, nothing will. I'm Nikki. Welcome to Nightly Haven, where the dead speak and we listen.
Fear tingles down your spine and hairs stand on end. Mysteries unknown and tales in the dark. Are you ready? Hello?
The Greenbrier Ghost. That's a funny name because I'm reading Beautiful Creatures right now and there's a Greenbrier. Anywho, it begins in the winter of 1897 in Greenbrier County, West Virginia, a place where the hills roll gently, the fog clings low, and the spirits apparently keep receipts. Zona Heaster Shue was young, newly married, and according to everyone in town, far too pretty to be dead. Yet there she was, laid out on her bed in her home, her husband, Erasmus, hovering nervously like a man afraid someone might ask a question he definitely did not want to answer. The doctor barely arrived before Erasmus tried to shoo him away. She fainted, the husband insisted. Just natural causes. Natural causes, the universal excuse of guilty husbands everywhere. The doctor didn't look long. With Erasmus cradling Zona's head against his chest like a shield, the death was quickly ruled accidental. She was buried the next day. Done. Closed. Except Zona wasn't done. Her mother, Mary Jane Heaster, had suspicion. My daughter did not just drop dead motherly instinct, but grief quieted her voice until the night the dream started. On the first night, Mary Jane woke to the sound of footsteps, slow, purposeful. Her bedroom chilled as if someone had opened a window that did not exist. As she blinked into the dark, she saw her daughter standing at the edge of the bed, pale, eyes wide, neck bent at an angle a living person could never survive. Mary Jane froze, and Zona spoke. Not with lips, not with lungs, but with a whisper that vibrated in the bones more than the air. Mother, he killed me. Now, Mary Jane tried to convince herself it was grief playing tricks, but Zona came back the next night, and the next, and the next. Each visit more detailed, more desperate. He strangled me, she said. He broke my neck, she said. And then Zona tilted her head backward, demonstrating the snap. On the fourth night, Zona told her mother exactly where the break happened. The vertebrae, the angle. She begged her to get her justice. Now here's where the story gets wild, because Mary Jane didn't just keep this to herself. She marched into the county prosecutor's office and said, "My daughter's ghost told me who murdered her, And the prosecutor, instead of kicking her out, listened. Maybe it was just the way she said it. Maybe it was faith. Maybe it was fear. Or maybe he had his own suspicions about the husband. Whatever the reason, he ordered the body exhumed. When the coroner examined the neck, it was exactly as the ghost had described. Broken, clean, twisted. The marks of strangulation unmistakable. Erasmus Shue was arrested immediately. At the trial, he showed not grief, but arrogance. He told the jury, "They can't prove a thing." Oh, bless his little heart. Not only could they prove it, but Mary Jean testified about the ghost under oath, and the jury listened. Historians still debate how much the ghost story influenced the verdict, but the fact remains. Erasmus Shue was convicted, and Zona Heaster Shue became the first and only ghost in the U.S. history whose testimony helped solve her own murder. Even today, if you visit Greenbrier County, locals warn you. Some people stay silent in the grave. Zona isn't one of them. Teresita Basa and the possession testimony. Now, fast forward to Chicago of 1977, a year that already sounded like a horror film. In the apartment of 15B, a woman named Teresita Basa lay dead, stabbed, and set on fire. It looked like a robbery gone wrong, but there was no leads, no suspects, no evidence. Case closed. Cold. Filed away. But the dead apparently don't like unsolved paperwork. So months later, coworkers of Teresa started noticing something odd about a woman named Remy Shue. Remy had worked with Teresa at the hospital, friendly, kind, nothing out of the ordinary, until she began having dreams. In these dreams, Teresa appeared beside her bed, her clothes charred, her voice trembling. "Help me," she whispered. "My killer walks free." But dreams, people usually ignore. Write it off as trauma, stress, or watching too many late-night ghost specials. We've all been there. But Remy started going into trances. Her voice would change. Her posture would stiffen. She'd mutter things she couldn't possibly know. Her husband thought she was having a breakdown. Until one night, during a trance, she said, "My name is Teresita Basa. Alan Showery killed me." Remy had never met Alan Showery, didn't know his name, but Teresa kept talking through her. "He took my jewelry. He gave it to his girlfriend. You must tell the police." Remy's husband, probably questioning a lot of his life choices at this point, finally called detectives. Imagine being those cops receiving that call. "Hi, yes, the victim told us who killed her. Through a coworker's body?" But the detectives decided to humor them, and thank goodness they did. Because when police searched the apartment of Alan Showery, his girlfriend answered the door wearing Teresa's jewelry. She even said, "Oh yes, Alan gave it to me. Isn't it pretty?" Showery confessed on the spot. No ghostly visions were used in court. But the supernatural tip was the only reason police reopened the case in the first place. To this day, this case remains one of the most baffling examples of a murder victim speaking from beyond, using the body of a friend to force justice. And you know what? There's something comforting about that. I mean, not the possession part. That's nightmare fuel. But the idea that the dead refuses to be ignored, that they refuse to let justice not be served. The Bridge Ghost of Illinois. In Illinois, the ghost of a murdered woman named Marianne Bigot allegedly took justice into her own translucent hands. Marianne was found dead near a rural bridge, strangled and dumped. For months, the case went nowhere until people passing the bridge late at night began reporting something. A woman in white, always a woman in white, standing silently, pointing to the riverbank. Some drivers ignored her, others stopped, only for her to vanish. But the pointing continued night after night, and the sheriff, tired, underpaid, and probably tired of hearing screaming teens claim they saw a ghost, finally walked the riverbank himself. There, half buried in the mud, were objects belonging to the killer. A button, a tobacco tin, a torn scrape of coat lining. Those items led detectives to a man who had been seen arguing with Mary Ann the night she died. The man was arrested. The evidence was enough, and the pointing ghost, she was never seen again. It was almost like she clocked out. Justice done. I'm off my shift. When ghosts clog the justice system. These aren't the only cases whispered among investigators. There are old Appalachian tales of murdered miners whose boots were heard walking through tunnels, leading rescuers straight to their buried bodies. There are Caribbean legends of doopies, spirits who tug sleeves and mutter names, revealing killers who thought island superstition would protect them. There are dozens of police confessions that begin with, "Look, I don't believe in ghosts, okay? But something told me to go back to that scene." Strange dreams, cold spots, dead relatives showing up in places they shouldn't, names whispered into half-asleep minds. Most cops don't talk about it publicly because nothing kills a promotion like saying, "The victim's ghost helped me solve it." But they whisper, and the whispers say the same thing. Sometimes the dead refuses to shut up. So what do we make of all this? Are they ghosts, psychic impressions, subconscious memories, or just the universe making sure justice gets the last word? And maybe it doesn't matter. What matters is this. Some stories don't end with a death certificate. Some victims grab fate by the collar and drag their killers into the light. Some voices echo louder from the grave than they ever did in life. And maybe, just maybe, that's why the night feels different sometimes. Why we glance over our shoulder. Why empty hallways always feel watched. Why graves don't always mean goodbye. Tonight we learn that murder leaves a mark on the living, on the dead, and sometimes on both sides at once. This is Nightly Haven, and remember, if justice doesn't come fast enough, the dead will have their own way of speeding things up. Have a good night, guys. Bye.